Okay, so good morning, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, so let me share the screen.
Yeah, it's visible.
All right, that's good. Okay, so today what we are going to do, today we will implement one project, and the project name is Student Management Mini Project. Okay, Django Student Management Mini Project. So what we will do in this we will see the steps to create the projects. Okay, so we will go through the steps of projects like how to do, right? So in this we will create the project and application, register the application, then we will design the model, right? Student model we will design, then migrate, we will migrate that model into what? SQL code. Migration will convert that model into SQL, and migrate will execute that converted code so that it can create the table in database. After that we will create the admin panel, right? By creating the super user, we will register our model in admin panel, as well as we will customize the admin panel, means we will add few more thing in our admin panel like filter. Okay, like we can say we can order the data in ascending and descending, so such type of customization we will do. Then we will create the views, and we will render the data in the form of HTML and in the form of JSON. Okay, so next is we will configure the URLs which through we can connect the views to routes. Then we will design the templates, nothing but HTML page we will design for the same. After that, here is the new thing what we are going to do. We will use the external database which is MySQL. Right now we will not use SQLite 3. Okay, SQLite 3 is the default given by Django. So yesterday and in previous two classes we have used this SQLite 3, but now we will try to use the MySQL external database. We will see how to set up the MySQL database in settings.py. Then we will run our project, right? So this is the one idea. Okay, so what are the key features? What are the key features? So we will basically work on ORM queries. ORM queries for fetching, filtering the student data. Admin panel, manage student record easily. HTML page, display data dynamically. JSON API, provide data in the form in the JSON format. Okay, and bonus is we will set up the MySQL. We will download the MySQL. Okay, then cheat sheet, common ORM and MySQL commands. FAQs, frequently asked questions. We will see. Okay, like ORM, migrate, JSON response regarding them. And after that we have admin customization. We will display the required columns. Okay, here list underscore display is a list which is used to display the required column in admin panel. Okay, so if you will not use this, so it will display all the columns in admin panel. But suppose if you want to display some required column, then you can use list underscore display. We will see that in detail. Search fields, we will see. Okay, how we can create the search bar and how we can create filters. Okay, so these are the steps. We will follow all the steps one by one. Okay, and one more thing before starting creating the project, so we have to download what? MySQL server and command line tool. So here is the official website. We have to go to this website and we have to download the MySQL installer for Windows. And if you have Mac, so then you can follow this command. Okay, and if you have Windows, so we will download MySQL installer. Okay, so what we have to install out of them? MySQL server, MySQL shell, MySQL command line tool. So these three things we need to install. Okay, so let me show you first. So just click on this by pressing. Okay, just go to this website. Okay, so once you will click on this, you will get a web page here. Okay, so here we have to install this installer, MSI installer. So once you will click on download, you will get login and sign up, but you can ignore this login and sign up. You can click on no thanks, just start my download, and it will ask you the location and it start downloading the MySQL. Okay, once it is download, so what you have to do, you have to install MySQL server. Okay, so we have to install MySQL server, MySQL shell, and MySQL command line tool. Okay, and this is the configuration we will do to connect our MySQL. Right, so once you will download the MySQL command line tool, so you will see something like that. MySQL command line tool. MySQL command line client. So we have to open this. Right, so by default the password of this is what? By default the password of this command line is root. Okay, so when you will set up it, it will ask you the password. So by default password is root. So here I will write the password to log in into it, but I have changed the password. My password is 123 only, but you will see the default password is root. Okay, so this is the MySQL which through we are going to connect our database. Okay, so here you can write the command to show the DB, show DB, or show databases. The command is show databases. So here we have all the databases. We can create another database, and that database we can connect with this particular MySQL database. Okay, we will see how to create the database. Just I am giving the idea of this MySQL command line client. Okay, and we have the ORM queries. Like for example in SQL when we write select star, just wait. Okay, so in SQL, in MySQL generally what we write? In SQL query we write select star from student. Star means we are going to select all the columns and all the records in the table. And which table? Student table. But in ORM, we will say this like student is our model name dot objects. Okay, this objects is nothing but ORM manager dot all. Okay, so this dot all function will fetch all the records from the table. Right, and whenever we write code in views, so in views we will write the Python code. In views what we write the Python code. So that time we cannot write select star. Okay, we cannot write select star. So that is why we need an alternative. So alternative of select star is what? ORM command, which is student dot objects dot all. which is similar to select star from the student. But let's suppose I have to fetch only one person, so whose name Ali. I have to find the person whose name's Ali. Okay, Ali named people we have to find. So in SQL we write the command like select star from student. Student is a table, and here we are writing where condition, where name is equals to Ali. But in ORM we will write student dot objects dot filter. Here we will use filter instead of where. What we will use here, we will use the filter, and we will say name is equals to Ali. So it will fetch all the records having Ali name, right? And if you have to write order by query, okay, and you want to fetch this marks in descending order, so you will write select star from student ordered by marks descending order. But in ORM you will write student dot objects dot order underscore by, right? And you will write here hyphen marks for the descending, right? Select name roll number from student means, suppose let's suppose you want to fetch few columns, which name you are writing here. Star means it will fetch all the columns, but here you want to fetch specific columns data. So you can write the name, select name roll number from student. But selected things, how you will fetch from here, you will write student dot objects dot value, and here you can write the, in values you can give the required columns name. So it will fetch, and it returns what? It returns dictionary. It will return this value, function will return the dictionary. Okay, let's suppose you have to fetch the record based on its ID. Okay, its ID means its primary key. So select star from student where ID is what? 1. But ORM command you will write student dot objects dot get. Okay, what you will write? Get, and pk is equals to 1. Pk means primary key. Okay, so why I am telling this? Because this portion we will use while we will create the views. Okay, so these could be the confusing commands, but we somehow we know the MySQL commands, we understand it, we can relate with MySQL commands, but we don't have much idea as ORM commands. So I am comparing between ORM commands and MySQL commands so that we can get the basic foundation, basic understanding about them, right? So the next thing is, let's understand some MySQL commands as well, because we are going to connect MySQL database. So before using the MySQL client, we should understand at least basic commands. Okay. So for login, we will write this command. Let's ignore this command as of now. It is not very much useful. But for example, you have to display all the databases. Okay. So a database can contain table. Okay. A database contain more than one table. So if you will list out the database, so you will write the show databases. So list all available databases. It will display all the available databases. Okay, next command is create database. How you will create the database? So here we will write the command create database and database name. Whatever name you want to give, you can give. Right. So where we will write this command? Basically, we will use command SQL command line. Okay, this. Here we will write the commands, right? For example, I have written here show databases. So that is, after this it is showing all the databases like this. So such kind of commands we have to understand. Next is use db name. Use db name means if you want to use particular database, or if you want to switch one database to another database, so here you will use the command which is use and db name. Switch to a database. Okay, and if you want to delete the database, you will write drop database and database name. Whatever database you want to drop from MySQL, you can write. But if you want to show the tables, if you want to show the table, so you can write the command show tables. For example, MySQL. Okay, this is MySQL I have. Okay, so it is containing all the databases. Let's suppose I have to use this employees database. So what I will do, I will write here use employees. Okay, so what it is saying, database changed. Now I can write the command show tables. So it is showing two tables. One is customer table and one is order table. So if I write here describe customer, I want to see the customer table structure schema. So you can write the command describe customer. So such type of commands we can use while working on the MySQL database. Okay, so we have different commands. I will provide you this cheat sheet so that you can go through with each command. So for the describing table, for dropping, for inserting data, select all, select column, where clause. So these all the basics commands we have. Okay, order by also there, right? And what are the things which is required in our hmm, okay, these are other useful commands, we can see them later. Okay, as of now we don't have much need to understand them. Okay, so we are learning whatever required for the project, right? So we will work on model, we will create a model as well. So what we are doing, we are just creating a model. So which model we will create? Student model. When I'm saying student model, so it's nothing but we will create the table and database. So it should inherit models dot model. So model is the package name and this model is the class name. And how you will recognize the class? The first letter of the class should be capital. Okay, if the first letter of the class is a capital, means a first letter of word is capital, so most probably that is what class. So we have to create here fields like roll number, name, date of birth, marks, okay, email, phone number, okay, and address. Now just see here for the data type, for roll number, integer data type, for name, character data type with length. Okay, for date of birth, date field we have date field data type. For marks we have integer field or we can keep float field, right? For email we have email field. Phone number we have big integer field, right? For address we have text field. Okay, so text field is a big field rather than this character field. Character field will come something like this and text field will come something like this, right? So this is what we have to do with our model. And one more thing you will see here, we are writing this method as well. Okay, so why we are writing this? So that when we register our model in admin panel, so that it will display the table name and the columns name, right? So here you can study about this. Okay, so the str method defines how the object looks when printed, like in admin panel or shell, right? So return f string self dot roll number self dot name means it will show 101 as a roll number and it will show John as the name instead of displaying this student object one, right? So instead of displaying this, it will display these two things. Okay, and if you want to display more uh, column, you can display that. So instead of displaying this, it is not looking much meaningful. We can display the records fields, whatever record we have inserted, that record fields we can show. Okay, so one more thing here, we have to register our model in admin panel. So you can say this is admins.py file, right? So here what we did, we imported the student model, correct? And what we are doing, we are creating here student admin class. Okay, and this student admin class will inherit by the model admin, which is available inside the admin, right? So if you want to show the columns in admin list view, so we need to use one variable here, which is list underscore display. And whatever columns we want to display, we can write all the columns name here in this list. Let's suppose you want to get a search box in admin panels. Okay, add search box. Okay, in admin panel to search by its name and roll number. You can use this search underscore fields. So these are the predefined name. You have to use the same, and here you can mention like by which through you want to search the data. So roll number and name. With roll number I want to search, and with name I want to search. So this is the thing. Okay, and if you want to use sorting, like sort by roll number by default, if you want to use this, so you will write ordering and you will mention the field name by which you will sort the data. Okay, after that, once you will done with all the filtration, customization in admin, now we will register both our model and student admin. This student admin having customization. Okay, to add the customization, we need to add student admin as well. And this is the student which is our model, right? So we are having two things. If you will consider here, we are having two things to register. One is our student model, second is what? Student admin. So these both we will register in admin panel. Okay, then we will create the views. Okay, as we already know how to create the views, so we will create the views. Okay, so what we have to do, we have to import the JSON and we have to import the student model. We have to create first view, which is student view, second is what? JSON view. So what's the mean of this student underscore list here? So we are writing one ORM command here. What's the mean of this ORM command? We are selecting all the record and we are selecting with the help of order by. You can remove this order by if you don't want to use this order by. It means select star from student where, okay, and where we are selecting the data with the help of marks in descending order. Okay, so we are selecting it in the descending order. You can completely remove it if you don't want to use it. You can use only this student objects.all to fetch all the data from the database. Okay, and after that, whatever the fetched data, whatever data is coming from the database, okay, it will bring the data from the database and store in the student list. So this student list we are sharing as a dictionary, and we are rendering which template? Student template. So on student templates we will decorate kind of this information which is coming from the database, right? Okay, so let's do one thing. Let's try to implement this project. Okay, let's try to follow the steps. So first is we have to create the project, right? and the project name is student project. So let's do it. So let me open VS Code. So this is for day 17. Okay, so here we will create the project. Same commands we have to follow, same steps we have to follow to create the project, right? So what is the first command? Django admin start project, and which project? Student project. What it is saying?
We need to provide project name.
Okay, okay. I think this command is. Okay, so let's write it manually. Django admin start project. Project name is student project. Okay, we were missing the student project. Or let's write keypad, P capital. Got it. So we got this student project. Now, second command is go to the student project directory, cd, change the directory. Okay, so we are here at the student project location. Next command is create the test app. Okay, again the same. So we will write python manage.py, or you can write py manage.py start app application name. So let's suppose I'm writing test app, but you can write the meaningful name. Okay, so we got the test app as well. Here we have test app. Let's quickly register this. So in settings, what we have to do, we have to register it here. Uh, test app. Okay, so once we done with this, okay, registration, we have to let's connect the MySQL database. So for connecting MySQL database, you need to configure the settings. Okay, so what is written here? MySQL. I mean here written is what? SQLite 3. So they are using SQLite 3 database. But which database we want to use? MySQL. So remove it and write here MySQL. Okay. And here we need to write the database name. Okay, so what is our database name? We don't know our database name because we haven't created yet. So we need to create the database. Okay, so we will open this MySQL. So what we have to open? Go to the MySQL command line client. Right, just log in into it. 1 2 3. Okay, so first of all, let's see all the databases. Show databases. So is there any student? Okay, so we have student DB here, but we will create a new database. Okay, so that in that database we can keep our model. So let's create the database. So create database, and what is the database name? Student project. I'm writing capital semicolon. So what it is saying? Query okay, one row affected. So can we see our databases, and how we can see? Show databases. semicolon. So here you will see we got one database which is student project. Okay, so it is not considering the capital P, so it is in all smalls, right? So this is the database name. So we will use this database. How to use? Write use and database name, student project. So we are using which database now? This is student project. So if we will write here describe what, we don't have any table here. If I write here show tables, so it will not it is saying empty set. Okay, empty. It is saying empty because we didn't create any model as of now. We didn't create any table as of now, right? So let's configure this database. What is our database name? Student project. So let's write here our database name, which is student project, right? And after that, what are the required thing we need to write while connecting the MySQL database? So we need to write name. We have given the name, right? And we have to write the user and password. And host and port number is the optional. You can skip this, but you have to at least write user and password. So you will write in all capital username. So by default the username is what? Root. So I will write the root. And why this error is coming? Because we forgot to keep here comma. Second is we have to keep password, and password by default is what? Root. But in my case the password is 123. Okay, so this is how we have connected this. This is what we have connected our MySQL database, right? Okay, so now what we have to do, let's work on model. Why we are creating model? Because let me give you a clear idea. We have created the database. We have created the database. So we have database in MySQL command line client, right? And if I ask you what's the name of this database, so this database name is student project. If I ask you what is the table here in this database, so we don't have any table as of now. So we have to create the table. We have to create the table. We'll create the table, or we can say model. In Python, we call it model. In MySQL, we call it table, right? So basically, what we will do, we are going to create the model. That model will be converted into SQL, and that SQL code will be converted into table. So this is what we have to do. So let's write the model in test app models.py. Okay, so here I will write the model. So here we have already their model code. If we are understanding the code, then we can take the code. So what is our model name? Student model. What are the fields? So these are the fields we are using. Okay, so let's just keep the code here. Okay. So what we have to do, basically we have to keep it with some indentation. Okay, we have to provide indentation, otherwise it will be error. Okay, so this is what we have to do, right? And writing this, it is not the mandatory thing. You can completely skip this. If you want to skip it, you can skip it, no issue. But it will represent your data in a good manner. That is why I am keeping it. So better to keep it, but otherwise you can skip it, right? Next is this model we will register in admins.py. So here we have admins.py so that we can see our student model from the database and we can insert the data in the database. So that is why we are writing admin. We are registering our model in admin, right? So here is the admin. Okay, so we are creating here a student admin which will be inherited by model admin. Okay, so here we are doing this customization. We are showing required field. We are adding the search functionality. We are adding this. Okay, and we are writing order by. It's not mandatory. You can completely skip this. You can completely skip this customization. And what only you can keep? You can only keep the registration. Okay, what is actually required? What truly required in admin.py, which is this line of code required. Okay, so this is required, and we don't have student admin, so we can remove it. But now it is asking student. What is this student? It is not identifying. So what I will say, from test app, I have created one model in models. The name of that model is student. So I'm talking about this student. So it is registering, and this line is completely fine, right? But we want to add the customization, then that time we need to consider this code as well. Okay, so these are the predefined name. You have to write as it is name. If you will do the spelling mistake, you will not get the proper customization there. So this should be roll number. Okay, and this field's name must be similar to the field name written in the model, right? It should be same. Next, what we have to do, we have to create the views. But before creating the views, let's create the super user. Before creating the super user, you cannot create the super user until unless you will not run the migrations. Okay, so if you will run the migration, your this database configuration must be correct. If there is error while connecting this database student project with your Django project, it will not allow you to run migrations. So if everything okay, you will be able to run the migrations. So how to run? Py manage.py make migrations. Yeah, so okay, so it has created student model. Okay, let's just execute it. Okay, so py manage.py migrate. Okay, so we are getting some error while connecting it. Okay, just wait, guys. Okay, so let's try to write those two parameters as well, which is host and port. Okay, so host, what is our host? Our host is localhost basically, and port, the default port of the MySQL. Okay, so the default port of your Django application is what? 8000. But the default port of this MySQL, it is what? 3306. Okay, so 3306 is the port, default port of this MySQL. So let's keep it. Okay, let's try to migrate now. Okay, so the problem is here. Let's write register this admin as well. Let's see whether it will work now or not. Still it is saying this. So let's just ask ChatGPT whether our connection is correct or is there any issue in it. We can go to the deep sea. So it is saying your database name I have given, the user name I have given, password already given, host localhost given, this also given. It is saying option. Why it is talking system. It is not working. Okay, password should be the string. Correct key is user, not username. Okay, so yeah, so this is a mistake we are doing. It is not username, it is user, and this password should be a string. Okay, so now let's try to run the migrations. First clear it, now run the migrations. Okay, so it's saying no changes detected. Now let's say migrate. So if it is connected successfully, so we should get here table in our database. Show tables. Yeah, so we got the table. So what is our table name? Student underscore table. Previously, when I was written this command show table, it was showing the empty table. Okay, now I have written this command, so it is displaying all the tables. So these are some authentication and authorization table. Okay, we don't have to do anything with them. We have to see this table content. Okay, so if I write here describe, okay, describe test app and student. Why the table name is test app? Because this table belongs to our test application. That is why it is adding test app. Okay, so let's describe it. So you will see all the fields, roll number, name, whatever we have given in our model, the same fields you will see here. Okay, so the same fields you will see here: roll number, name, date of birth, email, marks, phone number, address. The extra column you will see which is ID, right? So what we have to do now, we have to fetch data from the database. We have to fetch the data from the database and send it to the HTML template, right? So we have this views.py. So what I will do, I will just write this code to fetch the data. Okay, so we have to write this code in views. Okay, so okay, so what's the mean of this line? We are fetching data from the database. Okay, and we are selecting by following the ordered by filter. Okay, and this means ordered by in descending order, right? And this data we are sharing as a dictionary in our HTML, right? So for this HTML we have to do the HTML setup. Okay, then what we are doing for the JSON, we have JSON view as well. So we are selecting. Okay, so we are selecting data student objects values. So this values method will select the data in the form of dictionary from the database. So that dictionary we are converting into the list, and we are giving this list in data, we are storing in data, and as a JSON response we are writing, we are giving here data, and we are saying safe false. Okay, so means what we are doing, we are saying there should not be any strict mode while displaying the JSON data, right? and we have this URLs, and this is what application label URL. Okay, so application label URLs means here we need to create one file which is urls.py file, and in this urls.py file we have to keep the URLs. Okay, this is not the, see, we are using here include, so this is not the application label, this is the project label. So project label URL you will see in projects configuration urls.py. So here we can keep this. Okay, and we can delete, okay, we can delete everything from here urls.py, and we can keep the clean code, but make sure you are giving the proper indentation. Okay, so we have to create the test type URLs as well. So in test type we have urls.py file which is we have created recently, but this is the empty. So we have to write the means application label URL. So here we have given, so these are the application label URLs, right? So we have two URLs, one is admin, second is what, I mean was one is student, second is what, API students, right? And this is the view we have connected, right? And this is the URL name, and this is another URL name, right? And after that we have this port to display the student information. This is just a simple HTML. So let's just copy it and create here one template folder. Okay, so let's create one template folder, and inside the template test tab, inside the test tab std.html, and let's keep the code here student.email. Right, next is we have this remaining code. Let's copy it. Okay, so what we are doing here basically, let's format it first. Okay, so we are displaying student information. We are writing if condition to check whether table contain student information or not, and we have more than one student, so that is why we are writing iterations here. Okay, so from student list it will get one student at a time. That student roll number, date of birth, marks, and everything we are displaying, right? So we have to configure this template as well. So how we will configure, in settings.py we need to create one variable which is template underscore dir, which will contain the template folder path, and this template dir we have to register here. Okay, so this is all good. So let's create the super user py manage dot py, create super user. Okay, so I'm giving the username, let's give admin, email no, 123 is a password, 123 again, yes. Okay, now we can run the server. Okay, so how to run the server, py manage.py run server. Okay, so now just go to this URL. Okay, so there is some issue in URLs. Include function is there. Okay, fine. Okay, there is no issue, but we have to write students. But before going to see the student, because as of now we will not see any students, if we will write here students, so no record, no data found, it is saying. So we have to write here localhost 8000 / admin, right? And now here we have to log in. So the username admin, password is admin 123. So here we are getting the student model. Okay, so here we can register the student, so we can add the student. Okay, so see, in MySQL also, if I write here select star from which table, test tab underscore student, so this is a table name, actually this is the table name. So if I will select right now, so it is saying empty set. But if I will enter the data from here, like 101, name is like Nobita, and date of birth, let's select the date of birth. Let's take just random one. Marks is like 88. Email is nobita@gmail.com. Phone number is 882277, like that. Address is Delhi. Okay. So now just save it, and you will see here. You will see here. You are getting the one record. In MySQL database, you are getting this record, right? And here on this page, on this HTML, if you will refresh, so you will also get here Nobita information, right? Similarly, if you will add another information, so how we can from MySQL also you can add the information. How you will add the information? You will write select, okay, insert command, insert into test tab student, okay, and here you will mention the column name like ID, roll number. Column name spelling must be same. Okay, so I'm not inserting it. It will take a lot of time to insert manually all the data using insert query, but you can write. You can write the insert query. I will just use the admin panel because it is interactive. Okay, and here, as you can see here, we have a search as well. So we can search. Okay, as of now, we have only one entry, so there is no use of search. But we are getting search bar here. We are getting filter here. Okay, so these are the customization we can do. So let's add another 102. Okay, sorry. So date of birth, okay, marks is 99. Email is dora@gmail.com. Phone number is 999. Address is Hyderabad, right? So this is the second information I'm inserting. Save it. Okay. Okay. So because I have written here 101 in search bar, that's why it is not displaying. So it is displaying two information, but if you want to search particular record, so you can write. So that is why we have done the customization in admin panel. Customize our admin. Okay, so it is displaying two record here. Here also it will display two records, Doraemon and Nobi. It is sorting as well. Okay, it is sorting the data. If you will not write this command, if you will see in views, okay, where is the views.py, right? You can skip this order by, if you don't want to sort the data in particular order. So we can remove this. Okay, so we are not getting the sorting data as of now, right? On template as it is showing. Similarly here, if you will write here the command select star from test type student, you will see two records. Okay, so we will see two records. Now the third thing is for you guys have to create the home page for this. Okay, you will create one home page and you will write one button which is show the student record, which will redirect us on this particular page. And one more thing, you have to create here static folder where you will keep all the CSS. You will link the CSS. right? And you can add the images and css on the template. So that's all for today, guys. I will give this code and I will give this sheet as well for the practice. Okay, so let me just keep it inside today's in today's folder. Okay, so now let me push it on GitHub. So on GitHub you can find all the code and all this PDF document. So see, student uh, documentation is git push. Correct. So you can go to this link and you can find the day 17, and in the day 17 you can find, you can get the code and you can get the document. Okay, so you can practice, right? So everything will be there. All right, so thank you everyone for giving your valuable time. Okay, so let's end the meeting now.